2018, 2019, 2020, we saw about 60,000 apprehensions a year, which is a lot for a sector this size, but it was certainly manageable. And then in 2021, it jumped to 190,000. And then it jumped to 250,000 in 2022. And then last year, 373,000. But when it comes to how people migrate through Mexico into the United States, it's all controlled by the smuggling organizations. So people don't really have a choice along the route to sort of go east or west. It's all determined based on who they are, but also violence in Mexico will change migration patterns as well, and especially if there's violence against migrants, that will move migration patterns as well. So a whole lot of things affect it, certainly not just a single cause. To me, the thing that affected us the most here, and still is affecting us the most, is that where the smuggling organizations are moving these people are the most remote areas that we have. You talked about the West Desert. So the farthest west parts of our area, way out west in west of Ajo, very desolate out there. There's no infrastructure out there. And these people are being pushed across the border into areas where it'll take us hours to get from the nearest paved road to them. So, if you think about a group of 100 migrants shows up at once out there, there's no four-wheel buses for us to drive out there. We have to get out there in trucks and triage that group and then determine who's the most vulnerable of all those vulnerable populations and get those out, maybe 4 or 5 at a time, and get them again in an hour or two drive back to some paved street where there can be a bus waiting to move them out. So it's incredibly callous and inconsiderate of the life and the safety of those people that the smuggling organizations are pushing through in those areas. And while that's happening, probably most importantly, we are not able to focus on our mission, which is securing the border, which is preventing dangerous people and dangerous things from getting into the United States. We are focusing on triaging these groups, providing care for these groups while we're not doing our traditional mission.
How do you determine who you will release and who will be, for example, placed in detention or removed?
Yeah, sure. So every day when we make all of our apprehensions, a certain percentage of those people have significant criminal history in the United States already. They've committed felonies here. They've been removed from the United States or they left voluntarily and now they're coming back. So those people are going to go into the custody of the U.S. Marshals Service. We're going to prosecute those people. If it's someone that's involved in a smuggling scheme, they're going to be prosecuted as well. There's a percentage of the people that are interdicted that are unaccompanied children. By law, they need to go into the custody of HHS, so that they go that way. And what we're left with is this other population that we refer to ICE ERO for custody. With the population that's left over, some of them will go laterally, sort of east and west, to sectors that have the capacity to hear those fear claims while they're in custody in those sectors. And then that population that's left, if there's nothing else for us to do to them or do with them, they then have to be released. I don't have any authority to continue to hold them. So we release them in coordination with NGOs, and with the idea being to try to mitigate the impact to the city of Tucson or Nogales or Douglas as much as we can.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.